everyone. Thanks to Almighty. I hope I'm audible. Thank you so much, Dipankar sir, for giving me such an opportunity. This is an honor to lead this webinar. Here Ayushi Prakash from Dr.KNMIET Modi Institute of Engineering and Technology, Modi Nagar. On behalf of Dr. K.N. Modi Foundation family, a warm welcome to one and all present over here in this webinar. I would like to welcome Honorable Dr. D.K. Modi sir, President, Dr. K.N. Modi Foundation, respected Professor Dr. R.K. Khandal sir, Guru, our mentor, as well as President, Research and Development and Business Development, India Glycols Limited. Heartiest welcome, especially our esteemed speakers, our guests, our alumni for today's discussion. I would like to welcome respected Director, Dr. KNMIET, Dr. Dipankar Sharma sir, and each and every directors, deputy directors, faculty members, and students who have joined us. Many participants already joined us across the world in today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. I can see we have many people coming from many different programs with different focuses. So that's great to see. As we all know, the world has changed drastically. COVID-19 now spread over the whole world. Please engage yourself positively as much as possible. Hope for the best and prepare for the worst. So let's today's agenda, cybersecurity and digital maps. Cybersecurity, protection of computers and network from theft of a damage to the hardware, software, or electronic data, as well as from the disruption or misdirection of the services they provide. So there are pros and cons of cybersecurity. Before I request our speaker to activate the agenda in motion by his valuable expertise, I would like to introduce them. So we are so fortunate to have our alumnus as a lead speaker in today's discussion, Mr. Dhirendra Pratap Singh sir. He is Vice President, Head of Digital Identity, Southeast Asia in Accenture, Singapore. He has done his graduation in CSE branch from Dr. Kedarnath Modi Institute of Engineering and Technology in 2003 to 7th batch, having vast 13 years of experience in software industry. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Hope you're doing great.
I am.
So we have seen many threats cybersecurity, sir, but also very mandatory for day-to-day life. Could you please brief us about cybersecurity or your experience in the same industry and about the platform for jobs for our students, your exposure or whatsoever you want to share with us, you want to guide our students as well as us. Please, sir, Dhiren, sir.
Sure. Thank you, Ayushi, for this heartiest welcome. It's overwhelming. I didn't expect such nice words, but thank you very much. A very respected thanks to Dipankar sir. I think it's just very nostalgic. When I saw his face, it was like it was just yesterday I was sitting on his cabin and sharing my personal problems with him apart from just maths problems. And I was telling him, I think I was the one who has troubled you the most in my whole career of my span of 4 years in KNMIET, and I wouldn't be and I'm not lying, I have troubled him a lot for sure for my advice, guidance that I needed. And to be honest, he was just like a family, just like an elder brother then and a motivator today. So thank you very much, sir. Abhishek, while you share the screen, I just want to apologize on behalf of our friend Santosh who would not be able to make it today. But we promise that we will come back again with a joint seminar, me, Abhishek, and Santosh for our family in KNMIET. The reason I chose cybersecurity, it's quite convenient for us to use the technology, the mobile phones, the internets, the geo platforms, the data, but we forget that now while we are exposed to a bigger threat, nobody thinks about it. And you might have seen there are so much cyberbullying going on, there are so much data breaches going on, people's passwords are being stolen, and with just a bit of acumen and carefulness, we can avoid that. And apart from that, we can build a huge career on that, and I remember my, I think 6th or 7th semester when I was studying design and algorithm, and then I was studying cyber cryptography. I was really fascinated by that. And I don't know Still, how I landed up in cybersecurity, perhaps my will and my interest on the cryptography probably would have made the universe give me this opportunity to work on the cybersecurity and make world a better place. So Abhishek, if you could please share the screen, I'd like to take our brothers and family to take through the slides. Are you sharing? Sure.
Yep, just a minute. Okay.
Thank you so much. And I would like to keep it formal, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to, just stop me. And the agenda I have is more of just touching and brushing up what cybersecurity is, how you can be more careful about using different way of, mode of technologies, mode of communication. And at the same time, I would just touch a brush upon how you can make a career here. What are the opportunities for you so that you can start thinking about from here on, and who knows, you could be one of the chief information security officer of a company going forward, right? The word is somebody told me when I was in KNMIET that the word is an oyster for you. You can make your opportunity on your own. And I think it's very true. So let's get started, Abhishek. Please, can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So what is cybersecurity? I think let me start. What is security? Anything what we want to protect with is a security. A gatekeeper in our society is securing us from the bad and malintentioned people. That's a security. Same way, cybersecurity. There are different modes of channel and communication that we are going through. We are going through computer servers, mobile devices, various electronic systems. The networks. There is so much of data abundance here. Securing those information, those networks, those computers is a cybersecurity. It's an art. Sometimes it's not a science, it's an art. And if you see, it seems everything now relies on computer and internet, and COVID has proved it again, as Ayushi was saying, that it's a small word for everyone. Who knew that today we would be connecting here via this channel with everybody again, right? The communications are happening over WhatsApp, emails, tablets, on your social media, social websites. There are so much of video sharing platforms are happening. And some in the next topic, my friend Abhishek will tell you about the digital maps. And if you see the transportation, where the navigation system is heavily reliant on, if somebody can make it, somebody can hack it, it's a problem, right? And shopping, we are doing online shopping. I'm sure you guys are a fan of Flipkart and Amazon, right? And not even that, the medical equipment, the devices are so smart and internet driven. The ventilators, the machines in the ICU, the life supporting systems, they all are internet driven, and they can all be compromised. So we have to be very careful. So we have to think ourselves how much technology is touching us daily. How much are we reliant on daily? And you know what? From the time I wake up, I check my mobile phone, and before I go to sleep, I check my mobile phone. You know why? Because we are heavily reliant on that. How much of personal information stored in there? In Facebook, how much information we are sharing. People can see that. Are we making it private? Are we making the proper privacy settings or not? There would be a 500 MB data somebody was given for free, and you're able to share your personal information with them. Do you think about that? Perhaps not, right? So the objective of cybersecurity is to make things secure, but still make things available for you. So take example that I say, you know what? I live in a society, it's absolutely secure society. But if my friends and family want to visit, they cannot visit you because security guard will not let me in. And I don't think so. I would like to live in this society. Am I right? You want to have accessibility. So while I want to have confidence, so there is a triage we call security triangle. We say confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And for your information to remember, you can call it a CIA. And everybody knows what CIA is. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So while I want to make sure that I have to have my information confidential, can you just go back to the previous slide, please? I just want to touch a few things on that. So while I want to make sure that my information is confidential, and I want to also make sure it is integral, somebody does not, manipulate this information. Nobody should have right to manipulate my data. But at the same time, should be available for, it should be available for use. If I have to use Facebook with security, it should be as easy accessible, but security shouldn't pose a user experience. It should not distort that. Next slide, Abhishek, please. Yeah, so what kind of threats you can see? And I think it would make a lot of sense when you go through that. There are phishing attacks. You get emails, or you get SMSs, or you get call. You get an email, you have won 10 million pounds In a lottery, we just need your personal details, send us this, and then they will come back, send us $1,000 post ticket, and then we will be able to transfer it. This is phishing. These are the phishing attacks. They will send you an email, click on this link, and you'll be able to go to the COVID-19 relief fund. And what it does, it installs it grabs your information, it takes control of your laptop, your user ID and password is completely stolen. Then what they do, they come to your company network and they then do a cyber attack. Ransomware, you might have seen, PATA, non-PATA ransomware, where the companies were completely shut down because of this. They put a malware in the system where it just traps down entire system of the company. Then hacking, it's a ethical hacker, unethical hacker, but hacking is one of the things where people can go on, hack your data, hack your personal IDs on Twitter or Instagram. You can see every single day there is a news, a celebrity's account was hacked and he or she has sent some wrong tweets to people. It's quite common these days. Imposter scam. People are trying to become an official email. I'm sending you an official email from the income tax department. If you'll not send your, this much amount of money to this account, you'll be jailed. And people are threatened. People are scared of this system. So that's how people are, trying to take advantage of your fear. Denial of services. An internet server, you can pose 1 million requests at a time via logic. What it happens? Nobody else can access it because you have already choked the entire network and distributed denial of service at the same time. And environmental events, there are so much of earthquakes, fireworks are going on. You have to be very secure at that time as well. You have to have your business continuity plan in place if something goes wrong, and with the security. So these are the things that are available. And you know what? We might have seen this one way or the other, and we have not noticed it. So I would expect today, after this session, please be a bit mindful about it, be a bit attentive, informative, and think about before clicking any unauthorized link, please. That's my request. Next slide, please, Abhishek. Yeah, I would like to touch upon some of the breaches, and you would be amazed to see what's the scale I'm talking about. There had been 945 breaches with 4.5 billion data records or identities being compromised only in 2018 for the first half, which is 23% of jump year on year. And you can see some of the biggest name: Marriott Hotels, Facebook, Twitter, Yahoo, Uber, Equifax, and the entire Chinese resume leak, Google Plus. You name one, everybody is a victim. Next slide. And this is again over the years. See how while we are evolving the technology, every person who is sitting on the wrong side of the table, they are also evolving themselves because they are smarter than us. Sometimes they are thinking ahead. They are thinking ahead. What are the other ways I can break the system? So while if you see in 2012 there was only one significant change, then by coming to the 2017 and 18, you have seen some of the biggest data breaches, including Yahoo in 2014, where 500 million records were stolen only in 2014, and 3 billion loss was prompted in 2013. FedEx, the FedEx company acquired a company called TNT, and the TNT was there was a cybersecurity breach in TNT, and it was a loss of $300 million. Would you imagine that? That's the scale we are talking about. Next slide. Yeah, go on. See, come on. Yeah. These are some of the statistics. By 2020, the cost of cybersecurity threat is going to be 3 trillion, and this is about some of the cyber incidents that we have seen. Yeah, go ahead. Next slide, Abhishek. Yeah. So these are some of the cybersecurity incidents that we have seen. The Russian bank has 28.3 million, losses in that. And if you see the Bank Codichiri, 10 million, Habib Bank, National Bank of, you name one, there are so many big banks that have been already breached. And imagine they have got everything in the world, every money they've got all the technology, but still the infiltrators are so smart, they can breach, they can, break the system. Next slide. Yeah, next slide. I think it's just a continuation of that. Yeah. So if you see the cause of incidents that I spoke about, it's a poor technical hygiene. While we talk about hygiene, we make sure that we wear mask, we clean our hands, we use sanitizer to protect ourselves from COVID or any virus. I think we have to be very careful about the technology viruses as well. They are as harmful as a normal virus, right? So the poor technical hygiene. What do I mean by poor technical hygiene? People are keeping safe, very safe, very simple passwords. Admin123. Anybody in the world can understand that, right? Is the easiest way. Social engineering, business email. People are trying to understand about your behavior at the social media, and based on that, they are taking calls. Okay, this person goes to Amazon, this person goes to Flipkart, these are things he likes. Some way or the other, they can understand your behavior and they can do a social engineering, they can understand about you, infiltrate your information. Lack of server security. People are not thinking about server security at all. I think that's how it has been infiltrated. Inadequate authentication authorization, if you see the password that we're talking about. Insecure, ineffective data storage. So we are securing a data, but no security is there. Data leakage on the user side, because we are not attentive. We are passing the information to somebody else. And client-side injections. Well, you code, I think you might have seen the, if you like technology, you would have seen SQL injection kind of things that you learn in database, right? And I think this is a time when you should start thinking about, while you're coding, how do I code securely? Yeah. Next slide, Abhishek. Yeah, the trends. So, in 2020, what are the trends that are going on? You all hear about cloud computing. Every data is going to be on the cloud. Serverless technology is coming in, and the most primary thing is that security. The cloud computing imposes the great demand of cybersecurity. Mobile apps and web portals, everything is moving. Even to Zoom. Sorry to tell that Zoom was deemed one of the most insecure apps some time back, and the entire world started using for COVID. One of the Chinese firm had attacked it, and they just infiltrated the data. Then they had to put extra measures to put security, because it poses risk to breach the confidential data of the organization. Just recently, they have published that they are much more secure now. Third-party services. The world is not willing to invest into every service on their own. They're outsourcing it, and if that's not secure, you're compromised. The introduction of artificial intelligence, the cryptocurrency. I'm sure you might have heard about this Bitcoin, Litecoin. You know, the regulations around that is going to be one of the biggest trend in the coming years, and especially from 2021. Open banking. Now the banks are globally. I think India also will follow up that, but globally the banks are becoming very open. The virtual, they're just putting everything on your thumbprint. Everything is on your thumbprint, and imagine how much security that requires. Then introduction of the 5G technology. We are talking about 4G, but 5G is going to be revolutionary. We are already started implementing that in Singapore now. Some of the other country has adopted, and it requires immense amount of data security and identity security, and Internet of Things, like your mobile, your iPads, your laptops, smart home, Google Home, Alexa. All those things are, what are they doing? They're capturing your data, and it has to be secure. Otherwise, your confidentiality and security is compromised. Next one, Abhishek. And again, these are some other trends. Digital identity. I think this is my word, which I play with. I love that. Digital identity is evolving in next 3 years. The consumers are coming in. The 5G technologies are coming in. The users are not only human beings. The users are robots, the bots. The users are mobiles. So everything that is coming growth. And data security. There are so many regulations going on data security and data privacy that has to be looked after. The compliance is coming in. The regulatory board is becoming more strict, and automation always. The artificial intelligence, machine learning. We cannot let it just open. It has to be absolutely secure and threat averse. Next one, Abhishek. Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to tell you guys what are the things that you can look up if you are interested in cybersecurity, a career in cybersecurity. Go on. Yeah. So there are certain roles that I said, you could be a security specialist in an organization, and within security specialist, you could be identity and access management specialist, network security specialist, information security or data security, there are multiple roles available. You can be a consultant. Then you can, if you love doing testing services, you could be a penetration tester. One of the most important part of making your organization secure. Then you could be, if you love cryptography like I do, you could be a cryptographer, write the algorithms, secure algorithms, security manager, architect, and then chief information security officer. The latter goes up to the level of C-suite, and that's one of the most important roles these days, which was not recognized 10 years back, but today every organization has a CISO at a very prominent level, and sometimes they are at the part of the board of directors as well. And to achieve that, you can start looking after some of the certifications like Cisco certified CCNA, which is quite common. Then when you grow further in your career, you can do CompTIA, you can do CISM. CISSP is one of the largest one, and then you can take penetration testing. Definitely, you don't have to take it today, but just keep in mind, if you have it in your brain, you perhaps can get in your life, right? So just think about it. Can you guys hear me still, Abhishek?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I heard a noise, so I thought I might have lost. So this is pretty much about cybersecurity and career. The next slide. Yeah, safety tips. Just a few advice. Make sure whatever software and operating system you're using updated. Use strong passwords. Use antiviruses. Do not open emails attachment just like that until you're sure. And make sure you're using secure Wi-Fi networks, not unsecure public Wi-Fi networks, just for the sake of having a free data. Use firewall. Do not use unnecessary softwares. Please check your privacy settings everywhere. Any app that you use, please just do not just blindly go and accept terms and conditions. Be very careful about that. Don't go give your full name and personal information just for the sake of 500 MB data for free, okay, please. And learn about internet privacy, learn about cybersecurity each day. I think that's something I would like to tell everybody. And starting from you guys, I think starting from today, you can make yourself more aware and more knowledgeable compared to the rest of the world. Next slide, Abhishek. That's it. Your data safety is the most important thing. You have to be very, very careful about yourself. Your data is your privacy. So with that, I'd like to thank anything that you want to have. Any questions? Was I too fast? Was I completely clueless? Please let me know, guys.
Thank you, Dhiren sir, for your opening remarks. It was really very informative and very illuminative for us. We have noted down all your points, and the questionnaire round would be in the last of the session.
All right.
So now let's get moving with our next alumnus, our esteemed alumnus, Mr. Abhishek Sharma sir. He is GIS developer and architect in Southern California Association of Governments, Los Angeles, CA. He completed his Bachelor of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering from Dr.KNMIET Institute of Engineering and Technology in the same batch, and having 11 plus years of experience in software industry. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I hope I'm audible.
Yes,
Abhishek, sir,
yes.
hope you're doing well, sir.
Yep, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking.
Let's put in motion by asking a question to you also about digital maps. As we know, digital mapping is the process by which collection of data is compiled and formatted into virtual image, primarily to produce maps that gives accurate representation of a particular area. So could you please share your expertise about digital mapping, Abhishek sir?
Sure. So let me start sharing with my slides. But before I start my slides, I would like to start thanking to key people, especially to Dipankar sir, Kanksha, who helped me to come on this webinar, Dhiren for coming along with us, and thanks to Ayushi for hosting and helping us. So let me start my slides, and a couple of things before I start the topic on which I'm gonna give I'm gonna spend some time. It's unique. It's unique. It was very unique almost a decade before when I came to this field. Now, a lot more people are familiar, and they're familiar because of the Google Maps and all those things. But I would like to touch base on many uh, key technical terms in the digital maps definition, which I'm trying to cover here. And I promise I'm not going in depth or technical on any of those topics, but would like to cover things from the broad sense and would like to keep this presentation as engaging as possible. Initial couple of slides are definition, and then I will try to go with the example. Okay, so why I have chosen this topic about digital maps? So there is a research from IBM about the mobile application used for the consumer data for 2019. So I've got two metrics here. Left hand side is by the age and right hand side by the country. But I've highlighted in both table with the yellow color. If you notice, what's the ranking of the type or category of the application which are being used, and number two is a navigation or mapping, and that's where I'm trying to present myself. I'm trying to make that thing a reference that why I'm speaking on this navigation, GIS, GPS, remote sensing, and many more technical terms will come. So I'll go on the second chart on the right hand side. You'll see in India we have 46% people who use navigation or the mapping platform, and number one is for sure the social networking because of Facebook, TikTok, and all those things. So it's just a kind of base why I'm a GIS, how I went to that technical things, and again it's a mixed blend of computer science, mathematics, even the mechanical engineering, and the geography what we read in our high school or the 12th. Okay, so I'm going to start with the maps and some basic definition about the maps because we all knows about the maps. So it's not the digital maps, a basic definition of the maps, what we see on the paper. So I'm going to read out a definition from the dictionary.com. Representation usually on a flat surface as of the features of an area of the earth or a portion of the heaven, showing them in their respective forms, sizes, and relationships according to some convention of a representation. So we're taking some things as a relatively and trying to show something that which belongs where on a surface, and here surface means earth. So
Abhishek,
this
just
is
one
about.
moment. Huh?
Mhm.
Just a quick check, Abhishek. Is everybody able to see the screen, the PPT that is shared or not?
Cool.
I think you go
So
back to the previous slide. That would be very important.
okay,
Where you were trying to show the map.
thanks,
The
Neil.
yes.
As always, you have been with me. Okay, so digital maps. I'm gonna restart, and that's my slide, which I was trying to focus on IBM research about the mobile application use which was released in 2019 about the mobile application category used by the age and the country. And the left hand side, you see how people are using the applications on the mobile and their category. The number two is a navigation and mapping. And on the right hand side chart, you will see the mobile application category used by the country. And there you will see that India, 46% people use the navigation or mapping, and that's the number two category. So number one, people would like to go for the weather and then navigation mapping. So this chart is I'm just trying to put this chart as a base to make sure that people understand what I'm trying to say here about maps, digital maps, or more technical terms which I'm going to use in the following slides. Okay. So first I'm going to start with the basic definition of the maps. So that's definition by dictionary.com, what they are trying to see. And in general, maps are all about whatever you see on the paper. As I recall in my high school or 12, when I used to go for the exam of geography, we need to pinpoint something on the maps. And that was a question for 6 or 10 marks. We just used to remember those things and put on the paper. But that was completely on the paper. What I'm going to talk here about the digital maps. Okay. And very basic definition which I got from the pcmagazine.com is about digitizing geographic information for a geographic information system. And that's a keyword. When I'm talking about the digital maps, the last line, geographic information system, GIS, and that's a keyword. Okay. So how that platform or technology or a framework is used to develop the digital maps. Okay. So the definition of GIS, these are the standard definition which I just put here to put as a reference. But in general, GIS is all about gathering, processing, and producing some spatial data. So see, whenever we talk about the GIS, data is there on the backend side, but the data is in the spatial format. So that means you have a relational database management system on any of the platforms, SQL, Oracle, PostGIS, Postgres, whatever. But there is an associated value for each and every data, and that's the spatial. That's a location. So you are trying to put something on the map. Okay, so that's the standard definition of the GIS. I would like to cover this topic on a very broad sense, and the reason is the recent uh, things ongoing, which people are must be watching on the news about India-China border, and so satellite images. So that's one of the topic which I chose when I went for my masters. That was one of my great subject about the remote sensing, and that's a very unique. So I will just touch base on a very high level. What is a remote sensing? So remote sensing is a science of obtaining information about objects or areas from a distance, typically from aircraft or satellites. So whatever satellite images, when you open Google Maps, you see multiple kind of uh, based maps, also maps, that's a satellite, traffic, bike, and many things. So satellite is one of the things which on backend use remote sensing. And there's a lot. So I'm just covering this as a key topic just to hear it loudly. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start with the map again, and I'm going to start with the digital map. So back to computer science BTech third year, I think it's sixth semester, when we read about the types of maps or types of digital maps, how many types of digital map exist over there. There's a subject called computer graphics. So there you must be reading about the two types of digital maps. One is a vector and one is a raster. So vector is all about the point, line, and polygon. So whenever you open Google Maps and you see something about a point of interest, for example, the location of KNMOD on the Google Maps, that's a point of interest. That can be a point or a parcel. We call it parcel in technical terms. Or it can be a line, for example, a highway, or it can be a polygon, for example, a big building. The same thing, if we try to represent the same vector in the computer, so we need to use the value of pixels, and that's where we call it raster. So it's on the backend side, it's whole computer graphics, which convert a vector into raster and raster into vector. So these are the very key technical terms I just would like to highlight for the better understanding, that these are the basic things when we talk about the digital map, basic technical terms when we talk about the digital maps. Okay, so when we talk about the digital maps or any maps, we must have heard about the coordinate system. We try to represent things on the 2D or 3D, and so there are two important things which we, I think, read in study in BTech first year, second semester, about the coordinate system and the projection system. How do you put things on the XYZ coordinate, or how do you project a map? So these 12 are the projection system which are defined by the science community so far, the 12 projection system. But the one which we use today is the Mercator. That's the very first on the left hand side, and that's we are using since last 4 centuries, and we still use today in all application, including Google Maps or any maps, Bing Maps or ISRO Maps or NASA Maps, any maps, all the maps used on the back end is the Mercator projection system. So it's very uh, necessary to know about the projection system, especially when you are from a technology field, because we read this about this in very much detail in second semester. Okay, so here is some example I'm trying to put. how the maps work. So I got the screenshot of the Google Maps on the top of Apple phone. So three, so there is a zoom level. So you see, if you go on the Google Maps, you see India, UP, Modinagar, Delhi, and then maybe more mineral. So these are called the zoom level. The typical defines industry zoom level all from 0 to 22. So 0 is the world level, 22 is the uh, block level, or I think it's the building level. It's a building level. But again, when you make it, so I'll come back to technical things. When you make a query as a client on a browser or on your application to look a direction or look for a particular place on a Google map, so what happened on the backend side? As any other application, it just try to fetch the data and show you that data. But on backend side, that's I'm trying to emphasize how it tried to pull that data from the backend side. On the backend, it's a relational database management system, but again, it's a very special category, and that is called the spatial data. And again, we have read about this in I think third or fourth semester. So whatever I'm doing, it's all there. It's all what we have read, but not that much in a serious mood. But now we are reading. So on the backend side, it's a relational database management system, but using an attribute called spatial data. So that is the location information about that data. Okay, so this screenshot I got, so that's the very first release of why I'm trying to take the Google Maps as a reference, because as a general audience, people, when I talk about the digital maps, people are very much familiar about the Google Maps. So that's the reason I'm trying to bring example from the Google Maps. So that's the very first release of the Google Maps back in fall 2005, and that was a beta release. So if you guys are using Google Maps today, so remember this was the very first release, how the technology of maps used to be 15 years before. And my next slide, this is the future of Google Maps. I won't say future, maybe that's very harsh word, but this is what they are planning to release in next 1.5 years. So this is how you're going to see the Google Maps on your machine. So I'm just trying to say, compare how the backend technology are there, how you see the maps, places, location, point of interest, boundaries, streets, highways, and all those things. So how these things are coming on the system, how a client pull that information, and how a server respond to that information. So how all these things are being saved on the databases, and then how an application server fetches that information in the API format and respond to you. So if you use the Google Maps, there's a Google Maps API which respond to each and every of the user request. Okay, this picture is all about the next 5 to 10 years. So we didn't just mention about the 5G and IoT. So it may be a little late for a developing nation to bring this technology, but when we talk about the IoT and 5G, how the Internet of Things and the connected cars, how each and everything will connected to each other, then how they will move. So this picture is all about how the 5G and IoT will work in a manual driving car, automatic manual driving car. But what about a map in automatic car? So if people have heard about the Tesla or BMW, the very advanced car, they are the self-driving car, and people do drive manually as well. But in self-driving car, it's all about the maps. So you just put a location, you just put your point A, point B, you want to get in here and get down there. So how all these things are working on the backend side, that's very important to understand, and that's all about the maps. So the next generation map in the next 5 years, the next technology revolution, I'm assuming is going to the transportation industry, especially in the developed nation, and how the 5G, IoT, deep learning, and machine learning are going to help enhance the map technology and the platform. Okay. So as a enthusiast or enthu digital maps person, I just got some cool maps to show a demo here. So this maps looks very cool. The 3,200 airports, how they are connected, and how much burden they are taking for the number of airlines or the number of planes. But how we have developed, how I developed this picture on the backend side, how I got the data, how I have produced a map, and then how I'm trying to show this visualization. So this looks very easy, but on the backend side, a lot of technical things are happening. So that was the main aim to show this thing. My second map, the migration of people from place one to place two, trying to show on the map for the visualization purpose in the US. So how, for example, how many people migrated for the job purpose from Los Angeles to New York. So that was the aim. And again, how is the backend data? How that data has been defined, designed, and implemented to show this beautiful map. Same thing, for example, how many people migrate from Delhi to Bangalore or Mumbai to Patna or maybe Modinagar to Delhi. So that data, if you have the importance of data, as they mentioned, and I'll just quote same thing: data is a new oil. So I have that things in my coming slides too. And again, how beautifully I'm trying to show a direction from SFO airport to Sydney airport if I have to fly. But on the backend side, how do you see that map? How that map direction and things has been developed. So whatever you see on the backend, on the front end side, how that things, how much hard work takes on the backend side. But again, this is in my next slide, I'm just going to compare this same picture with another base map. Okay, so this is a base map of black and gray color. But if I want to change that base map, what you see on the Google, so that's another base map. And base map is all about the static map, and which comes from GIS, remote sensing, satellites, a lot of data analysis, a lot of data interpretation, a lot of digitization, and many things. Okay. So this map is a heat map of my own location, which I have traveled from in this year from January to March, because since March, because of the lockdown, we're at the home. But this is a heat map which I have just collected my own data using my own Google locations where I have been. So mostly it's in my LA office location or the San Francisco, or once place when we went to vacation somewhere in New York. So that's the 3-month location heat map which I created my own. Okay. This is a very beautiful visualization of fire developed by LA Times, or maybe perhaps New York Times. I will try to give a quote on that thing. But how beautifully you can show a disaster on a map. It's don't want to use those words, but it's very tough to implement these things in a developing nation. But you just need to have a good expertise and the resources. But last year, California got a good amount of fire, and a lot of it wasn't in a very news. Same thing is kind of we got the monsoon back in India. So if I have to show that thing on a map, how fire is moving from one date to another date. So this map tells about that thing. So again, my intention is to show the fire on the map. Okay? And this is a map from Indian Express back in 2016, how many people are veg and how many people eat non-veg back in India in each and every state. Very informative. So just to see the information. Okay. So that's about the digital maps. Because there was a very key topic, both what Jiren spoke about the cyber security and about maps, or I spoke there. One thing is very common, and that's on backend. Everything is all about the data. Data is the oil in today's century. So how importantly we take or consider about the data, their security, their uses, their exploration, how important it takes. So I just got an infographics from uh, I don't recall that company, but information it for the use. So a day in a data, what happened in one day about the data. I'm going to start with the left hand side. So we have a 500 million, that's stats from 2019. 500 million tweets are sent every day, 294 billion emails are sent every day, 3.9 billion people uses email. Oh, I'm sorry, that's overall data. 4 petabyte of data created by Facebook, and all these are the stats about the data. But there's another picture. So that picture, what happened? I'm sure people have seen this picture on the Facebook. But I'm gonna interpret some information from that picture. That what happens in 60 seconds for each and every data. So, for example, for 38 million messages were sent in each 60 seconds on WhatsApp in 2018, while we sent almost 42 million messages on WhatsApp in 2019. That's an increase of almost 3 million per minute. Okay, so here is the gathering or the conclusive remark on this thing. In total, as of 2000, end of 2019, we have 2.7 gigabytes of data exist in our digital universe. Our question is that how much is a 2.7 gigabytes? So for your reference, because we all know about the gigabyte or terabyte or petabyte. So a terabyte is equal to 1024 gigabyte. A petabyte is equal to 1024 terabyte, and an exabyte is equal to 1024 petabyte, and a zettabyte is equal to 1024 exabyte. So, according to the node graph, by the year 2020, the end of this year, 1.7 megabytes of new information will be created every second per person. For example, this is a 58th session of the Zoom, and we are creating a new information. We are trying to share this, but on the backend side, we are creating a lot of new data. And by 2020, one third of the overall digital infrastructure or the digital data will be on the cloud. And I hope everyone knows about the cloud. Won't go very deep on that thing, but as of now, the whole industry analyze only 0.5% of data. And I'm sure people have heard about the data breach, data security, and data analysis. But what happened when we're going to analyze 100% data? How are we going to see the behavior and reaction of the individual or the end user? That's very important to uh, consider about the value of the data. And that's it from my side. So, yep, that's from my side.
Abhishek sir, have you done so?
Yep, I'm done.
No, her question is
Thank
that
you
have
so
you
much,
done these
Abhishek.
things? Yeah. And there are a few questions on the chat box.
Uh,
Sorry, Ayushi. Yeah.
yeah, thanks so much, Abhishek sir. Thanks for giving great advices and share your expertise. I appreciate the great efforts you have shown today. It was really a fantastic and wonderful webinar. I appreciate Dhiren sir as well as Abhishek sir for sparing your time from your busy schedule. So now as we are running low in time, so we will have a questionnaire. Do we have any questions? So I can see some questions in a chat. I would like to invite Lalit Sagar sir to ask your question. Manish sir, please unmute Lalit Sagar sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, what about the distorted map? Abhishek, sir.
So I'll go. Good question. I think you have some basic understanding of those things. So we have hundreds, not hundreds, but thousands of satellites revolving around the Earth and taking the pictures in each and every seconds. And they throw those pictures to the data center who interpret, analyze, and produce the final result images which goes on the maps. And there are multiple kind of interpretation happens or correction happen actually. That's environmental correction and many other kind of correction happen when an image which don't come because of mostly it happen because of the distance or the environment. For example, if you see any image of the Europe, that's not clear always compared to the South Asia. It's all because of the weather and the environment. So when that thing happens at that time, you see the distorted images. So it's kind of doing a call both things. One is by default by system that do you get that finest image, and second again as a standard quality analysis. When you interpret that images, do you really get those fine quality images? So very basic example. When Apple released their Apple Maps back in 2017, so there was an example, a lot of going on NDTV and LA Times and New York Times, that if you want to go from the New York to some 20 miles, so it was taking you from the water. And that was all because images were distorted and they did not do a good quality analysis on the backend side. And the routing algorithm which they were using, that was not up to the mark, but which they have improved. So one line thing, it's because of the backend system which has been used to interpret those images, and also the manual people who are working as a QA to improve those images. That's the reason you see the distorted images.
Sir, as far as my concern, as I study, basically some of the areas are comes under a curved area. If we are dealing with the curved area, we are not able to find out the with sensors to find out the particular maps over there. One of the reasons that comes under the distorted map.
That's another thing. So that's when you are trying to hide something. You don't want to expose your military area or security bases. Then you try to do those manual changes on those images. So for example, people don't want to show the military base for a particular location. So at that time, those requests goes to the companies who are the provider that you have to hide those images. That's doing the manual things. But nowadays, it's very extremely rare. No company try to accept those requests until it is really very secret things. Secret things.
So these remote sensing the satellites are working in the Leo, MEO, or which satellite level? Means basically we have a least orbital satellites and middle orbital satellites. These are fixed in the remote sensing. Which level of satellites?
I'm really not sure. Long time. It's been a long time, almost 9 or 10 years.
Okay, okay.
But I think it's gonna be lower orbit satellites. It should be. I'm not sure. It should be lower orbit.
Okay.
Thank you, Lalit sir.
Thank
So,
you.
do we have anyone else who want to ask questions from Abhishek sir or Dhiren sir? Do we have any in audience? Sir, I hope your session was so clear. So there is no any case of doubt.
It was either very clear or completely unclear. I don't know what to think about it.
No, it was so clear. It was so clear. Do we have any question from audience? I just wanted to ask. If any doubt, you can ask. Thanking you, sir, for answering questions of Lalit Sagar, sir. Before I hand over it to Dipankar, sir, I want to say, if you have any doubts, feel free to reach us at webinar@knmodifoundation.com and check out our webinar series videos on YouTube channel, Dr. K. N. Modi Foundation. Hope to see you soon at another webinar scheduled in this week. Now I would request you, Dr. Dipankar Sharma, sir, Director, Dr. K. N. Modi Institute of Engineering and Technology, to kindly share vote of thanks to our valuable and prestigious alumni and everyone who has participated in today's webinar, given their prestigious time. So over to Dipankar, sir.
Thank you, Ayushi. Thank you, Ayushi, madam. Just I went back to 2003 and 4 when I used to take classes of Dhirendra and Abhishek ji. And really, I am happy to see their professional growth of these guys. Actually, once a teacher enters into the class of 60 students, you found very few students that are close to you and that are dedicated, sincere, and knowledgeable persons. So Abhishek, Akanksha, and Dhirendra are few those names that I remember all the time. So my wishes are always with you guys, and I'm proud of you really that you are still so dedicated and sincere towards your task. And I think you spend your whole night for this webinar. And really, the thoughts and the knowledge you shared with our students, existing students, then definitely it will be helpful to them in making clear their goal and to set their career objectives. And I'm thankful to all the audience, those who spare their valuable time for this webinar. And just we are planning one more series of this webinar in which our one of the proud alumnus, Mr. Santosh, who was actually due to some urgent work was unable to attend this webinar. But soon we will arrange one more series of this webinar in continuation. Thank you so much, everyone, that you join this program and spare your time and gain your knowledge. And a special thanks to Ayushi Madam that she moderate this program beautifully. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.